Welcome back. So in the last video, we explored our convolutional feature maps after passing a single image. So for me, I've got an image of pizza right now. Yours might be a little bit different, through to our Conv2D layer. And we see that we get 768 feature maps because that's what we set our embedding size to be. And right now the feature maps kind of represent the input image. But it's not really that important that we can understand what these feature maps are as much as the computer can understand what they are, because this is going to be the learnable representation that our VIT architecture uses behind the scenes to represent each image. And so we're just working with one image for now to keep things simple. And we're up to flattening the patch embedding with torch_nn.flatten. And you might have tried this already, but let's write down what we've got. Right now, we've got a series of convolutional feature maps that we want to flatten, and these convolutional feature maps are our patch embeddings that we want to flatten into a sequence of patch embeddings to satisfy the criteria of the VIT transformer encoder. Now this should really be the input criteria. And of course, this information is from here, hybrid architecture. The input sequence is obtained by simply flattening the spatial dimensions of the feature map and projecting to the transformer dimension. So you might have already looked up the documentation for torch_nn flatten. This is the hint I gave you in the last video, that we can flatten certain dimensions here. Now we've used flatten before, but we haven't passed in the parameters. So we can choose which dimensions, start dimension and end dimension, that we want to flatten. So let's try it out, hey? What dimensions do we want to flatten? We want to flatten these two. We want to keep this one. So let's flatten this and this into a single dimension. So I might just put a little note here. This is a shape, F, create a string, and this is, we got batch size, embedding dim, feature map height, feature map width. And I know we're spending quite a big amount of time on the patch embedding, but this is possibly the most important part of the entire architecture. Once we get this down pat, we can put all the other pieces of the puzzle together. There we go. So what size do we actually want here? Well, let's write down what we want. We want batch size, and then we want number of patches, and then we want embedding dim. So this is what we're working towards, and we're getting very close, don't you worry. Now, where is this from? This is the output shape that we calculated before. We did this by hand, right up here. So output shape is 196, well, I've put the batch dimension on down below. So number of patches and embedding dimension. We've got the embedding dimension, and we're so close to getting the number of patches. So let's finish this off. We'll go here. So flatten layer equals nn. I might just from torch import nn. Flatten. What dimensions do we want to flatten? Start dim is 0, 1, 2. So we want to start on dim 2, and end dim is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Now, why don't we see what happens when we pass image out of conv through our flatten layer? So flatten layer and image out of conv. What do we get? What if we check the shape? Yes! Look at that! So now we've got batch size, embedding dimension, number of patches, but what do we want? The order we want is batch size, number of patches, embedding dim. So how could we rearrange this? Well, let's put everything together, right? So put everything together. We'll start with a single image. So what's our image? So we'll go plot.imshow image.permute. Oh, this might be a hint of how we could rearrange those dimensions just above. So we've used permute plenty to rearrange the dimensions of an image for matplotlib. Who's to say we can't do it to rearrange the dimensions of a patch embedding tensor? Plot.title, and we'll go axis equals false, and then print. Let's go, we'll get the original image shape. I love printing the input and output shapes of every layer. Image shape. Now let's go turn image into feature maps. This is where we're going to use our convolutional layer and create the patches. So image out of conv. We've set the kernel size and the stride size to our patch size. So image.unsqueeze, I'm just adding a batch dimension here. So add batch dimension. Then I'll print the shape here. Image feature map, so patches, shape. We have image out of conv dot shape, not comma, want dot. Then what's next? So flatten the feature maps. So we'll go image out of conv flattened. So this is just going to be the same output here. So image out of conv through our flatten layer. We're on a roll here. Flatten. We'll get our flatten layer and then we'll pass it image out of conv. Beautiful. And finally, print flattened image feature map shape. Image out of conv. What do you reckon? Have we done it? We're going to be so close, I reckon. Flattened. A lot of code there, but let's see what happens. There we go. Oh, I didn't get the shape. So we've got pizza. So we go from 3 224 224 to 1 768 14 14 and then 1 768 196. But what can we do to rearrange these dimensions to get at what we want? What do we want? Batch size, number of patches, embedding dim. So let's go rearrange output of flattened layer. So let's go image out of conv flattened. And we might permute. What do we have to swap? We want to keep 0 there. And then we want to go 2 1 dot shape. Image out of conv flattened. Do we have a typo here? Image out of conv flattened. I've definitely spelt this wrong. You might be able to see that. I can't really see that right now. Image out of conv flattened. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Batch size of 1, 196 patches, number of patches, and embedding dimension there. So we can go print F, and we'll get that here. We have just turned our 2D image into a 1D sequence of patch embeddings. Oh my goodness. So this shape is batch size, and then we have number of patches, and then we have embedding dimension. We have the input to our transformer encoder. That is amazing. Now, the question is, how do we turn these steps into a PyTorch layer? Because right now it's kind of all over the place. So that's my challenge to you, is actually first and foremost, try and visualize one of these patches or these flattened sequences, because this is a sequence. So try and visualize one of these to see what it looks like. And then try and turn the flattened layer that we created, as well as the convolutional layer, into a single PyTorch layer, so that if we pass the single PyTorch layer a single image or a batch of images, it'll go through this conv2D layer and then through this flatten layer, and then the output will be in this shape here. So give that a shot, visualize, and then turn our conv and flatten layer into a single layer. And we'll work towards that over the next few videos, but well done. We've now just gone from a single image to the correct input shape that we wanted for our transformer encoder. We're putting together the Lego bricks. We're going to push it further in the next video. I'll see you there.